primarily for the graduation video and how to trim and export video clips to compile our database of interviews. Okay, so you should by this point know how to do in and out points. And right now, I'm just gonna randomly, like, I'm not gonna go through the process of finding the questions and answers. You will do that part. So let's imagine this endpoint is the beginning of her answer, and O. So on my keyboard, I'm pressing O, and I drag in my clip in. Okay, I'll say change my settings because you want um, your sequence to match what the video was recording. Okay, and let's imagine she was laughing or you're asking a question, and this was the next endpoint, and this is the next out point. Right? Okay, and imagine you do this 10 times or 12 times, depending on how many questions you have. Okay, but if you did it in the order of the questions that we asked you to, then it would be one, two, three, four. Okay. The cool feature here, I'm gonna just zoom in. It's explaining your work area bar, and it's gonna make your life so much easier. Okay. This work area bar is indicating this is the area I want to say render or export. Okay. Notice if you have the magnetic clip on, it's important to snap, that it will actually snap to that cut line. So if it senses this cut line, your life's easier. Then what you'll do for your next clip is you'll drag that over and you'll just kind of shift it into place so it's on top of that clip, and that makes your life so much easier. So let's bring this to the first clip, and it will snap to the end. So this segment right here is my first clip. Okay. Oops, sorry. Now what I'm going to do now is Command M, or if you go to File, Export, Media, Command M, and we want to make sure everybody's on the same format. So please make sure you're using the H.264, decent quality, great file size, okay? And primarily what you want to do is see that the source is 1920 by 1080, and the output is of the same proportions. So we're good, okay? Output, I'm going to put this in my grad video. So desktop, grad video. And we ask students to name it based on the person they're filming. So her name is Colleen Riley. So it'll be Riley underscore Colleen. And I'll say underscore Q01, right? Now the cool thing is every time you do this, it'll automatically change the number at the end. So it'll be 2, 3, 4, and you'll have to type it afterwards, okay? And it's MP4 with H.264 format. Awesome. Okay. Now, this part right here is the most important part. You're going to say to it that you want to do the work area. Okay. You don't want to do entire sequence because it'll do the whole timeline. You don't want to do sequence. You want to make sure that's in work area. And I think by default it should be. Okay. But if it's not, just double check that. Cute. Cool. I personally, I won't export. This is the time you would actually want to use the queuing version. So you use Media Encoder. Okay. I'm going to press Q on this. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm doing this 10 times. I don't want to wait for Premiere to export while I want to get the next clip. I can just send it off to a program, Adobe Media Encoder, and let it do all the dirty work for me. Okay. Let me just cancel. This is my previous one, so I'll click on it and just press the delete button. Okay. And just double checking where it's going. There it is. It's called that. Awesome. Now, I'm just going to go back to Premiere. I'm just going to put this in sequence. You could press play right now, but I'm going to show you what it does. Okay, let's move on to our next clip. So drag that, it snaps to point. Awesome. Command M, because I'll be doing this a while. Oh, that's weird. It should have named it based on the next number. Mm. Oh, that's because I haven't done it yet. So anyways, I'll just do this again. Running Colleen Q02. I'm using your video. Okay. I'll put that in Q. Now imagine there's 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go back to Media Encoder. There it is. And you'll see that it's set up. Let me just move this out of the way. So it's going to export that into the H.264 format. It's going to be outputted to this name, that name, okay? And here, I'm going to press cancel. I'm going to actually play. So let's start with our first one. It's going to render that clip. Now, while it's doing that, I'm going to go back and imagine this is my third one. While in the background, the encoder is encoding it and sending it to a different format, I can continue putting this into Q. Okay? And if I just rename this the first time, uh, here's a reason why it's not naming properly. I should have renamed my sequence. Um, Riley, Colleen, Q3. Oh, sorry. Okay. Command M. Now the exporting will take the name of the sequence, right? So now I just go in there and just type in 3. Okay, so name your sequence the person's name, so it makes it easier. And also that's your timeline. You probably should have 3 people because you have 3 interviews, so you have 3 sequences. So I would do 3 separate sequences for each person, and then trim it up 10 or more ways for that person. Okay. Anyways, you'll hear a sound in the background, and that indicates that encoder has completed going through the sequence of converting it to an MP4. So if I were to say go to my Finder, for example, and go to my desktop, grad video, hello, and I'll say date modified. There they are, questions 1, 2, and you can play them on VLC player or QuickTime, whatever you like to see, and then it'll just be that segment of your clip. Okay, bit of a process, but once you get the flow, it will do it for you. Okay, that concludes our video.